Welcome to another edition of Family Reels. Oh my God. You don't even know what I just been through for the past hour.
It wasn't an hour,
It
more
was
like 30
okay,
minutes.
so
It was almost an hour,
it's
actually.
33
It
right
really
now.
wasn't.
What time were
We didn't even get on here until 5 till.
what time were we supposed to start?
Okay, so that,
It's an hour. It doesn't
first
matter.
of all, we did have some extenuating circumstances.
Look,
Your own circumstances.
I don't know what I'm saying. Extenuating. It's more like your circumstances.
Whatever.
I was good. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So the unfortunate side effect of life is that we do not have the person who picks said movie.
That's so true.
Oh, what is our movie?
Okay, so this is where I come in. So, this movie is called Our Family Wedding. I can't think of any big actor's name except for
Forrest Whitaker,
Forrest Whitaker, America Ferrera,
Lance
Carlos.
Gross.
I mean, not Carlos. Yeah, Carlos
Yeah,
Mencia.
Carlos Mencia.
Mencia.
I've been
Mencia.
calling him Mencia the whole time.
It's Mencia.
Well, he wishes he
I
was.
forget the dude's name.
Which
Lance
dude?
Gross.
The husband or the
Lance Gross.
Lance Gross.
Lance what?
Gross. Like his acting. It's gross.
Oh, gross. Wasn't
And
bad for
Regina
this
King
movie.
is in this.
Who?
Regina King.
Oh yeah, Regina King. Regina King.
Which is a bright spot in this movie. That is.
She
Charlie
is.
Murphy is also in this movie. Tay Diggs is in this movie for 5 seconds.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's got a little hodgepodge of characters that could have made this movie something. And
I mean, they fit in where they fit in. They didn't need to be, they didn't have to have the hugest roles.
I would have actually liked to see more of Charlie Murphy in this movie.
Well, of course. I mean,
I would like to see a lot more Charlie Murphy just popping up doing Charlie Murphy stuff. It would have been pretty cool, pretty fun.
I mean,
I will say right out the bat, this movie has one glaring issue that bothers me. This is better than Hitch. We've already discussed that.
Yes,
by a landslide, because at least it's cohesive.
Yeah.
At the bare minimum, this movie is cohesive.
Yeah.
The problem with this movie is it's racial, but it doesn't amount to anything, and that kind of bothered me. Like it never becomes a thing.
But it is a little bit. It is a thing because this is the thing. This is the kind of real life thing about how they put racism in this movie. Like, you got the Hispanic grandma who's like, who feels a certain way about black people. Her granddaughter married a black man.
She's clearly just racist.
Yeah, and that's the real life situation.
No, that's not what I'm not talking about the real life situation. I'm talking about.
No, he's saying
when you do this for movies, the end result should amount to something. Like there should be a lesson.
Okay. I was like, you felt like there should have been a moral to the story.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was though.
But it wasn't the racist thing. That's what he's saying.
It was because they had to blend their culture because they were kind of prejudiced against each other's cultures and how they.
But I see where Tracy's going, and although it did do that. But it didn't do it as an overall. It really more so ended up. Okay, see, we're moving far ahead. Let's go through the movie so we can get there. But I'm saying that I get what Tracy's saying. I get it.
Let's just do a quick synopsis. What this movie is about is a man who is black and a female who is Hispanic, and they're ready to start their lives together.
Say Mexican. She's Mexican.
Yeah, they
okay. I know. I just don't like to just
say
straight.
But they identified as Mexican.
It's okay. They identified.
Okay. So I didn't hear them say Mexican. Yeah, I just assume Hispanic.
Yeah, they said Mexican.
Okay. Well, sorry. Now that I get it. So we got a black man, a Mexican woman. They want to start their lives together. They want to, meet each other's family, blend together, and that kind of meets with a lot of clashing and stuff like that, clashing of culture, a clasher of belief and tradition and how things should be done, especially when it comes to background of their own family history.
Tradition.
So,
and mayhem ensues.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So
it's not good
where we
mayhem.
start?
Well, this movie starts. We start like it's actually kind of irritating because it starts initially with the couple, and then you know they're fine. You know what I mean? It's nothing really like crazy. They're just like they're obviously packing. They're getting ready to go meet each other's families, and that's all we know about it. We meet Brad.
Well, we also know that they haven't met.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's pretty much all we know so far is that they're going to meet each other's families.
Well, in the beginning, they explain like there's things they want to talk about with their family, and oh, you know, I want them to meet the and I like how it starts off him saying, "Oh, your family's gonna love me."
Yeah, you can't bet on that, buddy. You can't go out on a limb and make that assumption.
Right, definitely not.
That I like how they start off with that simple phrase. What, your family's gonna love me? Ridiculous. Boom. Go into the next thing, and the next thing I think is
Well, we essentially meet the dads in this, and that's pretty much.
Yeah,
we meet the dads without them knowing they're the best.
I'll say we meet them, the audience.
Yeah, we meet the dads when they meet each other. Well, we meet them individually, separately, in their little whatever, you know, what their lives, if you will, and you see that you know, Carlos Mencia, he's a business owner, and
Miguel in the movie.
Yeah, Miguel, thank you. Yeah. And then what was Forrest Whitaker's name?
Brad.
And Brad, he's a radiologist, and he's divorced.
No, he's not a
radiologist.
Radiologist.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's
a radio guy.
Oh, he said that, but he's a radio personality.
Mom,
you can't be listening to the characters in the movie, Mom.
And the crazy part is I know that because I saw him on the radio station.
No,
that's what he did. He's a radio personality.
He's a radio personality.
Which, crazy enough, fits.
I know.
He got the voice for it.
Yeah, he definitely got a voice for radio. I was like,
I don't know. Okay, so I don't know what city. What city does it take place in?
This is LA.
Okay, so all right, then that makes a little more sense. Because I was going to be like, there aren't a whole lot of like mega rock star like radio personalities the way he is portrayed. Like, have you seen this man's house?
Except here, there are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If LA, New York,
celebrities,
you know what I mean? You know those guys. It's like, other than that, a lot of those dudes don't move past like local and surrounding areas kind of deal, but they're big there. But so it makes more sense because I was about to say, I'm like, yo,
no, it was here. It was in Hollywood land. So yeah.
Moving into the story, moving into the story, we meet Miguel car guy, Brad. He's the radio host.
Looks like he works on what you call it?
Old school classic cars.
I would like to say that the company itself, what he does is kind of vague because he restaurates.
It's like it's a tow company.
It's a tow company. They do restorations. Apparently, it's like a whole shop.
Yeah, he got a whole car guy in there. Or I know, but he's got a relationship with the police, so that's why he does the towing part.
Okay.
That's what it is. Okay, I kind of grabbed that. Okay.
Oh, dang it.
Okay. So anyway, that's how they meet. Because he ends up being parked somewhere, I guess, that he shouldn't be.
For sure.
And then when he comes out, he's like, you know, oh no. Here, just take it off, because if they don't have you on the hook, you know, you can, right. You can be like, no, don't. And he kind of like jacked up. He's like, oh, okay. Oh, dang. Oh, it's got
he hit the thing because it was broken at first. He hit it and it worked.
That was
and that's messed up. There's got to be like some sort of legal action.
Well, okay, he's probably like, oh, look at this douche, this fancy car. I mean, I would take the opportunity
to. He was stereotyping, the whole thing. I mean,
immediately.
He was profiling.
He looked at him and he was like, bro, and he was like, what?
He said, what?
That's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. Okay, we get to do this a lot.
Yeah,
they meet each other and they're both like just like racist right off the gate. Like that's not how you talk to people. Just in general,
homie, bruh, all those names stuff.
And then enters Regina King, who at first I thought was his ex.
The ex-wife, I did too. That's what
Yeah,
I assumed.
until you get the idea that they've been friends for years, and
And she said
a
she's
matter of
a
fact,
lawyer.
she introduced her
Yeah,
him
she's
to his,
the attorney.
And
yeah,
she said,
and they've just been just been good friends for years and whatever. So she comes and picks him up. So you get an idea that they got a little flirty thing going on per se, but they're friends. And
man, we already knew, and that was telegraphed. We knew how that was gonna end. The moment she stepped into this movie, I was like, yeah, they're gonna end up together.
Right. You got to give it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it works for the movie.
It was
it does.
well, yeah, but it's telegraphed. It's telegraphed.
Yeah.
It would have been different if she had more of a meaner personality towards him. You know what I mean?
He was just like, she was like the cool.
It was like, oh, this
friend, and she's been there helping him raise his kid and all that stuff.
You know where this is going.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it was a lot of stuff that was predictable. I mean, definitely. But I don't know. For me, it was refreshing, predictable. You know what I mean? It had a little something on it that was, this dynamic. But it was it was a classic.
Yeah. It
story,
still worked.
But it still worked for me.
It worked because you know why? You want to see that. You want to see them win. You want to see that. Okay, come on.
I don't
know.
Well, look, I'll tell you why I didn't want him to win.
Okay, because you're a pessimist.
No, because the moment you meet this dude, we see that he's like an old scumbag dating young girls. Man, that's always gross to me. Like it.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It's not a guy I want to see win because he's been winning by his standards this whole time. He needs a loss.
Like, you really want Regina King's character, Angela? You want her to win?
I want her to win, but I don't care about this scumbag at all. I really don't.
Well, what it is, you want to see him become a man that can be loyal and be a real man and be with a real.
I don't really care. I don't really care what happens to him. He's a scumbag. Okay,
but let me.
He is introduced and he's just like, 19-year-old women. I was like, yeah.
It's a lot of women's dream to turn a scumbag into a loyal man who's good to them.
But let's be honest.
Obviously, he's got.
How often does that happen?
Okay, you're talking about real life or in the movies?
It's in real life.
In the movies, it happens all the time.
Movies all the time, but in real life, what do you think the ratio is? I would beg to differ that it's more of a loss on this one.
I would agree.
Still, obviously, females still believe in that kind of thing because they still go for scumbags.
Like they feel like they can change someone.
That's their fault.
But then we move on, and to the point where they end up, meeting them.
Well, this is what I put in my notes as a dinner ambush because originally I guess the plan was to have dinner with one family,
right,
or whatever with the other family,
right.
And she basically ambushed. Was like, "Hey, just have dinner." And I was like, "Yo, that's not. You have to stick to the plan." I'm sorry, it's not.
Yeah, she kind of
ambush like that.
She kind of did a lot of that this whole time.
She did. She's kind of the worst in this movie. Even though I love America Ferrera, but she is the worst because a lot of what's happening is her fault.
It is. It's true. It is. It really
because she wants so badly for their families to come
together. She wanted everybody to be okay, and she's trying to manipulate how everybody views everything.
The thing about that, regardless, like I know this is a movie and stuff like that, but it is so weird that it happens so often in movies with this premise that the person whose family might have the biggest issue is the one who never tells, because it seems like the most important thing you want to delay.
But for that very reason, they know that, and so that's the reason they're afraid. Yeah,
that's worse.
It is, but in the position of that person in this movie, in their mindset, I don't think that it's that they haven't given it the full thought. So it's just like they're kind of impulsively like, okay, I know we have to do this, but I don't want to divulge this, so I'm just going to say this, or I'm just going to do this.
But it's like that. But that's the thing, because then it becomes worse. Like, let's say if I'm in that position as a father, I would be very pissed that the rest of the family knew, because they all knew except for obviously the grandmother.
No. The mother didn't know either.
Oh, she knew.
No, only the sister knew. Only the sister knew.
Look, she made it seem like she knew. She just
was understanding. I think.
She's probably trying to be cool about it. Okay, she loves him.
Enough people knew. But on the other side, what's his face's dad knew about her, and it wasn't. And you know what I mean? So it's like
Because that's easier to take.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Well, I guess yeah, from a man's perspective. Whatever. Point is,
I mean, you saw the girls that he was dating in the movie.
Nobody wants to be ambushed.
True. And so then so when they meet, well, before they meet, they're meeting each other. Everybody's meeting before the dads.
Yeah, and they do that stupid thing where they keep going in and out and in and out.
Yeah. Oh, well, because she's like, "Oh, get the wine out the car," and he's like, "All right." He goes, "Get the wine out the car."
Hold on, I have a question, Mom. You have a little more experience. Are you allowed to bring wine into like restaurants like that?
Huh?
Are you allowed to bring wine into restaurants?
Well, it's not anything I've ever experienced.
That was weird. That was the first thing I saw, and I was like,
I mean, well, no. Okay, this is what I think this is. Okay, what I think it is them, and I say like us, we do things we ain't supposed to do. And I'll give you an example.
I ain't paying for no expensive wine.
Not even just that. I'm saying, okay, for instance, I could tell you about a time me and Lori took a whole bottle of wine into the movie theater, and she had a huge bag, and we had cups and everything. Pouring glasses of wine, watching The Best Man, and pouring glasses of wine. You ain't supposed to do that. So I figure they're like us. They got a culture, and I figure they were like, no, he's like, you gotta get that wine. I don't think they're supposed to do that.
But it's what's weirder about it though is he gave it to the waiter and was like, hey, open this and pour. I was like, you can do that?
The waiter's probably like, okay.
It was so weird to me because I just didn't think that was a thing, and I have to go to a fancy restaurant. I want to try it now. I'm just gonna go bring in my own bottle and be like, hey, could you? Thank you.
Good luck with
how about bring your own freaking cork thing? What do they call it?
Nice for me.
Corkscrew.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Give your bottle that you brought out from the outside and say, hey, good luck here.
Right.
I don't know, man.
No. I wouldn't say that's a thing. But then when they meet and they discover who they are.
Well, no. First. Oh no. He does. No. He comes back. The dad.
Which dad?
Bradley. Yeah, Bradley. He comes out with a female, a date.
Not Bradley, it's Bradford.
Oh, Bradford. Sorry,
Bradley.
He comes out with a young girl, and this girl happens to know his son's.
With them.
Huh?
The girl that he brings went to school
with her.
She played baseball with her.
Lucia, and her sister.
They
play softball together.
That's disgusting.
Disgusting. And so it already started out funny.
I don't want this man to lose. It's gross.
Yeah, it is weird.
I'm sorry, but if I'm meeting,
I think that's what they were trying to do. I mean, when I say they, the people who created the movie, they wanted to drive this point home. If you didn't get it before, you get that he's kind of into, and he made a statement to Regina King's character about why, and that's because he's saying the older ones come with all kind of and all that kind of stuff.
Veteran problems.
Veteran problems. Right, that's what he said. Yeah,
and stabbing you with something or whatever, going, "You did it. You know what you did." There's something like that.
Yeah, so we're at this part. We finally get to this dinner, and they meet each other, and this is like this is why I think getting comedic actors to do certain things is better. Forrest Whitaker doing this stuff looks weird to me. It just looks out of place because it's like
I was thinking that initially.
Yeah.
But in a way, it started working only because it's like this. So now you're taking this person, he literally is the straight man. And it's like, and it's funny because his reactions are more funny because he is not the funny guy.
It just looked forced. Like everything looked forced.
Well, because honestly, you don't think, I'm sorry, Forrest Whitaker is not sexy and handsome enough to I guess play a character who gets all these young women.
Well,
I like Forrest Whitaker, but
I don't know, man. I cannot vouch. All I'm saying is
what makes that what makes that relevant is that in across the board way, older men who get younger women, it's not always because they are good looking older man or
Because they
sexy.
got
It's
money.
because they got
Characters,
money.
positions of
Right.
power, all that good
But
stuff.
And
but
see
I'm
how the
saying,
first girl was like, "Oh, I know who you are." You know what
I
I mean?
listen to you. Yeah, she was like, I hear your voice every night.
Every night, yeah.
but
Also,
but I'm
that's
saying,
Haley Marie Norman. Just in case anybody cares, that's who the actress is.
but
What's
I'm
her?
saying, but I'm saying, you wouldn't put a guy like Forrest Whitaker. Who's another actor? You would put, and if you were to put an older actor, I'm sorry, you just wouldn't pick a Forrest Whitaker.
Well, let's put it this way.
I don't know.
Just in general, because that's why it doesn't matter like that. To me, that only matters in movies when you talk about women. Women have to be attractive, even if they're older women, because the joke is they're older. With men,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because you got to look at Tim
Yeah.
Meadows, played the ladies' man. There was all kinds of look at Hugh Hefner in real life. Like,
Right.
come on.
Hello.
You know what I mean? It
Exactly.
doesn't matter. It
No.
doesn't matter.
He's rich.
You don't have to be handsome. You
No.
don't have to look. You have to be a good-looking man. And
Nope.
and even
He
if
wasn't a bad looking man. I don't think he was
oh, but
ugly.
I'm saying you don't have to be like
But he
Rico
was not
Suave to get it done. And he's
sexy
got the
or
voice, so
ill.
it works. He's just some guy. He's just he's
No.
rich and famous. Drives nice cars, wears nice suits. Who cares? That's all you need.
That's all it takes.
I guess.
Truthfully.
Sure. Yeah.
So once they start, they have that moment, and when they recognize who they are, and they start arguing.
Oh
And
yeah, he sat down and they just look.
Really
They make eye
loud.
contact.
Yeah, they're really loud in this restaurant, and it's funny to me because the wife, Miguel's wife, is like, "Hey, both of y'all, like,
Sonia.
sit down, shut up," and then they won't sit down because like you sit down,
he's like,
you
I don't know.
sit down.
They're like,
Oh, I insist. No, I insist. I was like, oh my god, are we doing this?
I don't know. I liked it. It was funny to me, especially them trying not to be the one to sit there.
Like, I'm just straightening my tie.
I
So-
thought it was funny.
I liked it. It got the job done for me. In
And,
that,
It did
one
not.
thing I like though is so funny. You know, his date, the young girl. You know,
Oh.
she's like, oh man, look at us. The universe is bringing us together, and like we're here.
Like, no,
the sister, she was talking about, she's like, you said that out loud.
like you did, you did.
I liked
And
her.
I
The
like
sister,
her
Sister is one of my favorite characters in this movie. Yeah,
her name was Isabella, I think, in the movie.
Isabel.
Bella.
Isabella.
Her and the grandmother. The grandmother.
No, she is my least favorite character in this movie.
She is funny
But it
though.
was horrible, but it was just, it was like that. It's like, gosh, she just does not care.
Okay, I initially didn't like her because I thought I was tripping. I didn't think it was but it's the old lady from Selena.
Yeah.
I was like, you bitch, you.
You killed Selena. No, that's
You're still holding the grudge. You can, but see, you know what? You can't do that because nowadays she is so lucky that movie didn't come out during the age of the internet because she would probably be getting death threats. Like, Jesus.
no. And the way people are that are fans of people, oh my
Goodness,
god.
terrible. Do you know people sent that dude who played well, I don't know I forgot what his name was in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the guy who ended up getting the shield and playing was the new Captain America or whatever. They sent that man death threats.
Shut up.
I guess people just didn't like him. Like,
Wow.
come
That's so
on, man.
crazy.
Listen, people, you got to get lives, man. You cannot be out here sitting
Man,
to actors.
I mean,
cray.
yeah, no.
Like the beehivers. Like, good grief.
I didn't feel that kind of thing like against her herself, but it's like, you know, when you just see somebody in a movie and you're like, ooh, you was an a-hole. You was an a-hole, you know it. But
like,
you don't want to talk crap like
Dave Chappelle, who's always bad at things. Yeah.
yeah.
What's the name? Bokeem Woodbine? Woodbine?
Oh,
Evil Dave Chappelle. He's always the bad guy.
I'm so mad that people say that because that's like what I thought in my head. Like,
That's who he is. You can't tell me that's not.
he is. He's always, even in the Wu-Tang thing. At first, it was like,
Oh yeah, he was kind of
a douche. But he turned out to be so bad, actually.
yeah, he was like, that's a
He
really
was just
good
like
guy.
one of those old dudes that tell the truth and say it like it is. You
Yeah.
know,
It's
I
really
like his voice too.
Really his voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his voice.
That's
it
why
sounds
he
menacing.
didn't have no lines in life.
Yeah, he wouldn't have sounded right for his character.
Yeah, he had no lines. It worked out better that way.
Oh,
it worked out.
But anyway, so I think we get past that particular scene.
The dinner, everybody's like,
they finally announce, hey, we're getting married, and they're like, what? You guys don't even know, blah blah blah.
Right. Blah, blah, blah.
We go through that, and it's just like, yeah, it is what it is. We're getting married.
Right.
Yeah.
Tough.
Oh, and they were like, you pregnant?
Yeah, and then she was like, no, that would be impossible. And
then of course, that's when I think
they mentioned about law school.
Her first boldface lie or omission about her not quitting or not saying, you know what I mean, about law school.
And it's
what she says is they've got it worked out. She take the break.
She can go to school or do something from there. From Laos.
Yeah, it's
Laos. Okay, whatever it was. Yeah, exactly. So that's when she first.
Which is funny because as soon as she says it, he looks at her like, "So I got to be a part of your life now."
One thing. Did we confirm his profession?
Yeah, he is a doctor.
No, he's a doctor.
Okay, yeah.
That's why.
So the reason why he's going to Laos because he wants to help
Doctors
community.
Without Borders thing is what he was doing.
Yeah.
And basically, and that's when doctors go to third world countries to help people who don't have.
They are. We get it.
Yeah, but so that's how that dinner goes. She omits that important information and just tells her family that she's got it worked out and she can go back when she gets back or whatever. Yeah. So they're all stressing out because they're like, dang, she's going all the way to Timbuktu or whatever. You know, her dad's all stressed out about that. And so I think that was the end of the dinner, right? Everything important about the dinner.
After they expressed their concerns and all of that. Mm-hmm. So the next thing I have, I'm bad at these notes, I have to tell you. I am very bad. Let's see.
Notes.
What'd you say?
You just gotta take better notes.
I can move us forward. I'll move us forward.
Take the notes.
So, anyways, they go to the family's house. This is probably next day or another day. Who knows? But they go to another important piece of information. Did we clarify that she said in 3 weeks they would be going to Laos or whatever. So this is all within 3 weeks. This whole thing.
Yeah. It's fast because they're like, okay, we want to do the wedding March 5th or March 7th, which is so because there is a part in here where we realize that Carlos Miguel misses Valentine's Day, but they don't say it until later that it was because she was like, seriously? And she was like, what? Well, I don't understand. I was like, well, somebody let me know what the hell is happening. Otherwise, we're all just clueless. And it's irritating because I was like, he clearly forgot something. And I would like to know if he deserved what he got for forgetting whatever he forgot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could at least let us know it was Valentine. Maybe they did. Oh, no, they did.
Oh, yeah, because
they did. Okay, I'm back in. Back in the game, baby.
Get with it. All right. No, let's move on to the next scene. You know, they go to Miguel's house, you know, her dad's house or whatever. And he's like, let me take you on a drive or whatever. He takes him on a drive.
No. We're skipping. We're skipping.
Oh,
because we get Black Man Brunch first.
Oh yeah. With all of them, with Charlie Murphy and
It's called Black Man Brunch.
That makes sense. It is a Black Man Brunch.
And this is the scene where it's just them telling them, hey, you might be making a mistake. Everybody's with. Look at old Tay Diggs over here. He was like, his wife calls every 10 minutes. And he's like, no, she doesn't. And on cue, she calls. He's like, no, I don't have to answer that because I'm a man. I was like, Tay Diggs is great, man. He's always just really good at playing whatever character he's supposed to be.
He's all in.
He is. He's doing great. Just answer the phone, man. It's fine.
But what they're all talking about with Marcus, pretty much their skepticism of marriage. They're talking about their skepticism of marriage and like, oh, you gonna be tied down and things like that.
Well, here's the thing. Skepticism isn't the wrong word because they're really just like against marriage.
Right.
Skepticism is like, I'm not sure, but This is more like, yeah, don't do it because it's gonna ruin your life.
Yeah.
And then you're like, because his dad is like, I already did it and it was terrible. And then Charlie Murphy's like, I never did it and I get to have all the fun I want or whatever the case may be. And like, nah, man, it's great. Stop listening to these clowns. And it's just like, and that's pretty much the facts of it. There's going to be three sides. It's always somebody saying, don't do it for this reason, don't do it for that reason, or do it for this reason. And that's the whole point of this, so he can see each of these adults that he deals with dealing with this. And it's
these are all you got two very single older men, and then a not single man
not single,
tightly tied to his wife,
tightly tied and not trusted.
Yeah, I guess.
Which are different extremes.
Yeah. He's got somebody who's checking on him every 5 seconds because she thinking he doing something he ain't supposed to be doing. And apparently something happened because they mentioned something.
Yeah.
Like, so, and he's like, that doesn't, he's just like, and then he goes and answers the phone after they remind him. So, yeah. And then it was on to, what was your scene?
Well, I did skip that one scene. I didn't get to write it down. But so moving on to the next scene, it's basically he takes Miguel takes Marcus for a ride,
right,
and they don't even know where they're going yet. He's kind of grilling him. He's like, you didn't ask me for permission, when you is something about talking about it shows you have family values and things like that. And he's like, oh, it's not really, you could tell he's like, dang, I kind of already messed up, he doesn't want to make any more mistakes. And so they end up pulling up to where? The police station. And he's like, what the heck? And the whole reason is so he could take him to the police station and do a finger scan, like a background check or whatever. And he's like, see, it's easy, I'll do it. Puts his thumb there. And then he's like, oh, okay, all right. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. He puts his finger on the scanner, and you hear the police say, oh, all right, you're under arrest or whatever for an outstanding warrant. And he's like, oh, see, I knew it.
He said, no, for public nudity or something. And he was like, oh, so what did he tell him? You're a
pervert.
Yeah, you're a pervert. Yeah. And they were like, no, you. He's like, what? That was 1984. I was young.
It's from 1984.
Now it was okay. It was an excuse.
He was like, yeah, I was 19 years old. We were just having fun and all that whack stuff, which is, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. I don't care if I'm getting married to your daughter. You're not about to take me down to no jailhouse and get fingerprinted for you. Like, sorry, I'm not doing all that, dude. I don't care how old school or traditional you are. I am not, because I'm not stepping foot in no kind of police place unless I absolutely have to.
But it played out in his favor. It would have played out in his favor either way, because either way he was going to be clean.
Right.
His record was clean, and then it just played out even better because it's like, bro, look at you.
Y'all know you bringing me. You all
just like a messed up the thing to do anyways. Like, why? Like, would you do this?
Well, I think that was part of like the racism.
It was. We knew it was.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's definitely like see if he has a record or anything like that.
Which is crazy, because throughout this whole movie, there's like jokes and stuff like that, but they also mentioned that their cousin just got out of jail.
Right. I was just thinking that.
Am I the only one who thinks that's off? Who thinks that's a little odd, that your biases are kind of unfounded? Well, and those same stereotypes run in your community as well.
Well,
I think it's the hypocrisy. Yeah. The part of the point is hypocrisy, of tradition and what that entails. Like, why is it important? And different cultures and how people look at other people's cultures compared to their own. I think that
it also proves that just because it's a stereotype and just because said stereotypes can still exist in your community doesn't mean that you can't feel something about those kind of things because your community, so to speak, but other folks you can still be leery of at the same time. Like, okay, it's like let's say your bad people, but you don't know the other bad people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's kind of dumb, but it is what it is, I guess. And then so yeah, we get through that, and then this is when he meets the grandma, and she just like falls out, and
The
she's
funny
like,
part is he knew that. What's
he
Carlos
definitely,
Mencia's character again? Miguel.
yeah.
He knew
Miguel.
that. So he's like, oh, wait till she meets him. The way she
And she totally falls out. And she's like, "No me toque." She told Marcus not to touch it. No me toque.
Yeah, like it's just come on, man.
Funny. It's funny.
terrible.
Whatever. It's funny
Fine.
as hell.
It's fine.
She was funny as hell.
Hilarious.
What?
Oh my God.
Whatever, Tracy.
Yeah, so then they go to this gathering, I guess, at Brad's house, and they're
Oh
all
yeah.
there discussing the wedding and stuff like that.
Well, when you know what that they discuss, they're talking about, how an important part of,
Well,
him, why he is the way he is, how his dad got custody of him and how his mom didn't fight for him.
before we get there, we have to talk about this apparently hilarious scene where Carlos Mencia accidentally ingests water laced Viagra. Ha ha ha.
Did he? Oh, he.
It's just
Well, he
Yeah,
went to the bathroom and he's being all nosy and stuff.
well, he's just
And
dead. He's doing dumb stuff.
he dropped the pills and stuff. They go everywhere. He's
Water
trying to
starts
pick them up.
flowing. It's just come on.
Yeah, doing too much. But that's while they're having the conversation.
A better comedian would have actually made that look funny. It just looked like tedious because it was just like, all right, wrap it up.
Yeah,
Wrap
just,
it
I don't
up.
know. It just, and also, I'm not gonna blame him totally. I mean, I think a lot of it is the writing. I mean, it's
the
just
writing, obviously, but
yeah, because that was like they wanted to put that in there, and I think,
but it didn't even
they
serve
just
a purpose.
didn't find a way to do it well.
Like this scene particularly doesn't even serve the purpose because he comes out, he puts the magazine in front of him, and then he puts the pillow on him, but then it's never brought up again.
Yeah. Well,
like,
no, I mean, but I think that's the end of it. That's for our purpose, just to see end result.
Nothing happens here. It's like that's like you started the joke and was like, all right, I'm done with the joke.
No, they did, and it just wasn't a good joke. At the end, but we'll get there.
Yeah, well, that
was kind of
that was even worse. It was worse.
Yeah. That's true.
So we'll get there.
In this because you were.
And then the part when they start trying to figure out certain things and they break out. And talking about he starts singing "Lift Every Voice" and sing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say because Jonna had mentioned that like they were talking about traditions and stuff like this, and he was like, "Oh, well, there's so many African American traditions," and both Marcus and what's Regina King's character's name, Angie, both look at him and said, "Like what?" Let's be real. It's really not. We just get married and do what we do at the end of it. Like, I don't think as African Americans we have like any crazy standing marriage traditions that happen.
Right. No, not in the overall sense, except
we're jumping the broom.
We just party and do the electric slide.
Kind of like more of a, I don't know, because I don't know any black people that I know specifically that's gotten married and jumped the broom.
I've heard of people doing it.
I've heard people do. I've never seen. I don't think it's a business.
I mean, but it's not. No, it's not a thing to say that we all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of people. I mean, we have done it. You know.
Yeah, but it's not a thing that we do.
But it's not a thing that's like, oh, this is the tradition and we do it. No,
that's not our thing. That's not our thing. And it is so they're going back and forth arguing. He starts singing the Negro National Anthem for no reason at all. He doesn't even know the words. It's Carlos Mencia singing something else. It's just
him and the grandmother.
Yeah, they're going. The only funny part in this entire scene to me was the seating arrangements when they were like, "Okay, you can't sit this person next to this person and this person next to this." Like, so that
was hilarious.
That scene had a couple of good gags in it. Like,
well, because you got the. You know what? We'll talk about that, but you're talking about the seating of like his, Brad's ex-wife, or Marcus' mom. And he put him in he was like thinking about it, put her in the street, gets hit by a bus.
Like, come on, man.
Talk about sitting like the cousin stuff. One creepy cousin who's like, don't sit him next to females. He's like
Oh
touching
yeah,
all over the feet.
you can't sit him next to any woman. You
Talking about
can't
the
sit
cousin coming out of jail.
Hector. I don't know what his name is in this movie, but that dude plays Hector and everything else.
That was the one that was in Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Hector. He is Hector in literally everything
He
he's
is
ever
Hector.
been in. That dude is Hector.
Oh man,
Hector be working, bro. Hector be working.
he does. He does.
Yeah, so that was a cool gag, man. The rest of this though is you can throw that shit away.
I mean, it was good. I mean, again, I think that was a funny thing, and that I mean, so they sing the whole thing and all that stuff. Yeah, but
I think that's the end of that scene.
That's pretty much the end of that. Yeah.
One thing they stress, which is why the movie goes left the way it does, is Angie, she was talking about it's your marriage, but it's their wedding. Talking about the parents' wedding,
pretty much.
And so that's kind of what's the problem about what happens throughout this movie is because it's like their wedding. They're getting mad of how things should be about it, and the actual couple, Lucia and Marcus, are just like, we just want to get married and blend our families together,
Yeah, but and this is like, because when we start to do the wedding stuff, we do the dresses and the tuxes, and during the tux scene, we get more racism, and it's just kind of dumb and misplaced because, like,
it's not necessary.
But that's the whole point. But the whole point about all the racism in this movie is like, it should amount to something. There should be a bigger lesson learned, and there isn't. It's just like, oh, hey, I guess we have to be family. So
I just think they didn't. I think they just didn't illustrate how much might have been learned from it. I wouldn't say we could actually say that there wasn't.
I will, but even if that's the case, it's just like it has to come to something. Like there has to be a bigger part about it. Like the closest we get is closer to the end when America Ferrera is like, it doesn't matter what color he is. You taught me that. And that was like the extent of the conversation. It was like, all right.
I guess. It didn't have to be said. It was kind of like.
It should have been with the amount of racism in this movie. It felt like that was the point. At least with like a movie like Guess Who, because that is the focal point, they actually address it.
But it's not necessarily the focus point. It's more like saying we come from two cultures. We're trying to blend our families, and the point of it was we have a lot more in common, and we're all messed up. And
it was the focal point. I think it was a focal point.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. With how much of it is in this movie, it's essentially a plot point.
Because what it is, it adds to. I guess what's supposed to be funny in this movie is,
that's what I'm saying too. Like
the Mexican family and then the Black family being what they are towards each other and against each other.
And I get that. Like I obviously that is like the we're from two different countries, but are from
it's restating it.
And but it's also the belief in the stereotypes is the part. Like you have to, if you're going to go that deep. You know what I mean? To use these stereotypes against each of these characters at some point in this movie, then we have to address it. We can't just let it fall to the wayside. Because
I think it's not overall.
The thing about it is because, like, let's look at it from this perspective. If I was dating a Hispanic woman and her dad would say stuff like that about me, we get married. Do I think he automatically just stopped saying this stuff about me? You know what I mean?
No,
like,
of course not in real life.
These things, it should have been addressed. It should have come to a head. There should have been something.
Well, it all started from them fighting before they even met each other
because they were being racist to each other.
Well, because he felt like an asshole. Miguel felt like the other guy was being a douche because he had a douchebag car parking in places he's not supposed to park, and Brad's character felt like he was being a douche for towing his car before he even put the thing up. So it started from them not really liking each other. They're going to be
a lot of that was just steeped in the racism with the bros and the essays and stuff like that. Like it was just there. There was no reason for it, but that's all. I mean, As a black dude, if somebody calls you bro, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And if you call a Mexican essay, they're gonna be like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?" Like, you know what I mean? You're already showing your hands. They're both being racist because that's how you insult people from a different culture. Yay!
Shit.
So whatever. All right, so
move on.
I mean, they have a little talk about not caring to do things traditional, and I like how the grandma's all appalled. She's like, heathens.
Yeah, well, they're also a part in this when they're trying on the dresses and stuff. When her sister is like basically telling her, "Oh, you broke the pact." Never getting married, never ending up like mom, essentially, and she can hear everything, and that's kind of
God,
yeah.
I felt bad.
It's kind of messed up.
They were just like shitting on her. She was like, "You think
I'm not gonna be mom?" Like
housewife and doing laundry and all this stuff. I was like, a little
taking care of your little ingrate asses.
Little bastard. Like, yeah, shit. That's like they're bad.
So that's a part of her, and Sonia. That's her character's name, Sonia, and Miguel's little thing they got. I like how they did that. They got their little side story. They've got Brad's little side story with Angie. I kind of like that because it wasn't just all focused on.
I don't, because I don't like the lack of focus here.
Moving forward.
But honestly, the less lens gross we get, the better. This guy is terrible.
Much enough to be that terrible. He wasn't terrible.
He wasn't.
He just wasn't as significant as any other character.
He is bland. He has no personality. Okay. All his lines are delivered with the same pizzazz as a piece of toast. Like,
okay, look.
Hey, toast. Underrated.
Shut up.
Bread, get out of here.
I agree, Mom, but
I don't eat burnt bread.
Okay, so aside from, I think you just don't like him. I think that you pick that person you just don't like.
I've made that very clear. I've seen enough of the House of Pain show that I was like, man.
He's horrible.
If that other black dude wasn't on that show, I'm not watching.
In his defense, so was most of the cast.
That's what I'm saying. Only one person on that show was any good. Only one. And we all know who it is.
Mr. Payne.
Yes. Because even, what's his name? Light Bright from New Jack City.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He was bad.
Yeah.
How was he bad?
What's his name? His name is Payne. What's his name? Alan Payne. Yeah.
How was he bad?
I know.
How was he bad?
No, I was like, wait, I've known him for years. What is going on here?
That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, Lance Gross is bad, and he's bad.
But what I'm saying is, his badness didn't
take away from the movie.
It didn't.
Oh, no, because for whatever reason, he's not the focal point of this movie.
Right. Yeah.
He is a side character in his own movie.
But it worked. I didn't feel like I didn't see him enough or saw him too much.
He is really a side character in his own movie.
But it was the right amount. Yeah. He was the right amount in this movie.
That worked. For some reason, they were able to pull that off.
They didn't need a guy with all this personality or anything, or to be the most handsome or anything like that.
And I think he was the straight person in this thing, even with America Ferrera, because she was the one.
Butt sauce in this movie.
What?
She was just doing the most,
because everything that just like spiraled out of control is because of her. What ended up happening is because she never told her dad what happened. He looked at him like he was nothing,
right?
Because he assumed that he was just mooching off of her, because he was like, I'm gonna do the Doctors Against Borders thing and blah blah blah, and we know that's a nonprofit for the most part, so it's not like he's gonna be making a bunch of money.
Well, we're not there yet. We are not even there yet.
That's what he thought when he told him what.
No, he's saying in general though, just
when they had that dinner, that's when he was like, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm going to Laos, and he was like, oh no, that means my daughter's gonna do all the work. Like, that's all, he already had it in his head.
Well, that's weird though, because like you say you're a doctor, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You a doctor, like I'm for it.
But you're also thinking about when people say you're a doctor, you're like, oh dang, you're making that doctor money.
Well, right.
He's not.
His character,
he's doing something.
This is his daughter. and he wants her to be okay and be taken care of and go into some third world country. And so I'm saying from his perspective, I can understand it.
But and that could
Okay.
have
But
all been
without the
avoided.
other information, he had no
Yeah,
context.
that's what I'm
True.
saying. That could have all been
Because he
avoided
lied.
if
Yeah.
she just
Okay,
opened.
I wanna move on to the next big scene, which is the baseball scene.
It's the barbecue. It's the
Yeah,
barbecue. The
it is.
barbecue first.
No,
Yeah,
that's the
the
same one when
barbecue
they were
already
talking about. We
happened.
already talked about that. That was
Yeah,
when
it just we went a
the
little
grandmother
slight.
said he was a heathen because they were talking
Oh
about.
yeah, we did
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
Charlie
yeah.
Yeah,
Murphy started
but
yelling
it's
at him.
yeah, it was them just talking about
Yeah,
not caring
Charlie
to do
Murphy.
things
Being
He
traditionally.
said,
more,
what
just
you
more
doing?
racism. Huh? Yeah,
Talking
he
about the
said, yeah,
grandma.
Oh
She
yeah.
said, "Can your mama?" What she say? Can your mama make rent? What did she say?
huevos
Rancheros,
rancheros.
huevos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
that
why
was
you
funny.
your mama
Yeah.
like?
He was like, well, no, that was a big thing because Charlie Murphy was like, well, why are we even having this conversation when the girl can't even cook? What
All
is
right.
you gonna feed
What you
your
gonna feed the
kids?
kids? Fruit Loops or can of spaghetti?
The SpaghettiOs out the can.
And yeah.
Which the ones with the meatballs in it aren't bad, man.
Oh my gosh.
And I
That's
know
not
I like that one too. Oh my god.
ugh,
Okay. So
not feed
moving
y'all that.
forward now, I mean that was a pretty funny scene, but the big scene right now is the baseball scene. Baseball scene is
Softball.
funny.
Softball. We're not legally allowed to play baseball in
They
movies.
were throwing overhand, weren't they?
It's a softball.
No.
Yeah, no, well, she wasn't. But
Oh,
it's also self pitch. So your team pitches to you, so they're not gonna try to strike you out. So it's
Right.
so the game is still baseball. It still works the same.
No.
softball.
There's a difference between softball and baseball.
What
And
is
it's
it?
an actual different
this is clearly a
sport.
league, and when you have like side leagues like that, they don't play baseball. They only play softball because
Yeah.
baseball is like apparently more dangerous.
Are we just talking about the ball? When we say softball, is it just the ball that
No,
changes?
and a lot of the
And the
rules are
diamond,
different.
yeah, the diamond is different. There's no grass infield. The whole thing is dirt. The rules are different. Like how you can't run into people to knock them over to be safe.
So like when he did that sliding thing, that was more of a baseball thing.
But no, because
I'm saying it couldn't have happened, but I'm just saying
you can't slide. Well, you can, but never slide to first. It is the dumbest thing, and this was the dumbest thing. This baseball
was
game,
dumb anyway.
because even in this baseball game, we're already doing racist talk because he's talking to the dad. He's like, "Oh, we're just way better at baseball than you are," and he was like, "What the?"
And then he started naming. He's like, "Oh,
He was like, "No, they're Dominican. It doesn't count."
somebody." We said, "What's his name?"
He said A-Rod
or A-Rod.
A-Rod. He said somebody else, but both
Manny,
of them.
somebody. But he was like,
cheated.
"Oh, well, they're Dominican." And
That
he was like,
that was the
he's
point.
like,
Both of them
"Wait,
cheated.
what?
And
What,
he was
he's
like,
like, what are you trying to say?"
Okay, but that's it's a constant fight. Like, do y'all belong to black people? Do y'all belong to Latinos?
whenever it's convenient for them.
Well, yeah, and that was a
That.
point, and I think that's why that was thrown in there purposely. Is like even on our side, when it comes to that, because we may or may not claim them depending on how they behave.
Because we was claiming Sammy till he started dressing like Pepto Bismol and little Eddie Monster. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like
Exactly.
I don't know who that is. That man, he ain't one of ours though.
Exactly. But also the way that now this was the great part because Marcus was killing it and doing it
because
and he was getting mad
and they loved him. They were cheering for him.
Well, not even just that. He also struck out on self pitch, which is
with your daughter pitching to you, trying to help
giving you the perfect ones, and he struck out. That's
he was
hilarious.
sending them right to him.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That was hilarious to me because he struck out. He struck out on self pitch, and he's like, yeah, because everyone's cheering for Marcus is killing. But Marcus also does a dick move because someone says I got it. Right there. He came right in front of it. I was like, yo, you can't. I promise. That's how you get your shins.
He said, "Good job, Dad."
I would have knocked him right clean out of his shoes, bro. You undercut my I got it. We're gonna have some issues. But But even then, like this is one of those scenes where it's like everyone's against Miguel in this one, because even from the beginning when he was like, "Oh, you said we needed help, so I let them play," and he was like, "We don't need help," and she's like, "We've never won a game." I was like, "Oh my!" Sometimes you just got to do things for the love of it. Like, chill. Family.
No, but that's pretty annoying. Like, it's cool to play for fun, but you never won a game. Like,
I would
be
you should know.
Yeah, for real. You would be getting competitive too.
But at the same time, the family was on the team, so it's a little different. Like, you know, if I didn't pick my team and we were still losing, that'd be different. But
you would be getting mad as hell at us. You would be getting
nope, because here's the thing: if you guys were on my team, I wouldn't expect much from you. Sorry.
But you would still be yelling at us. Come on, you'd be all over the place.
When we went to the park and played kickball, you were talking stuff.
And we won. Quad. I won. My team won.
What team were you on?
I don't remember, but I know I kept kicking it right to mom.
Oh, he says we won. Each and whatever team he's on, he didn't even remember.
We did win. We did win. We did win. I think I had my
okay.
Dang, I'm trying to remember. We had a mirror, but she ducked.
I was on Maya's team, I think, because I remember waiting in line, like we were waiting to kick the ball.
We had a lot of the littler kids, but they ducked out. So we had Kiki on our team. Yeah, that was it. I think we had Jaden too.
You was getting mad actually a little bit too then. Now I remember.
Of course, man. I like winning.
So exactly. You over here talking about the fun. It's about the fun. You know you don't know how to have fun when you're losing.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, look, here's the thing though. I think it's different because that's a bunch of kids. I just like messing with them, especially MJ because he talks a lot of crap. So I have to beat him. I'm telling you, I be letting these kids win.
No child can beat me.
I be letting these kids win at stuff. And then the first thing they do is start running their mouths.
Oh, but Jaden, he's getting good. He's beating me and stuff like that. I hate when he talks crap. I just want to punch him in his face because he's for real. He's right.
That's what
I want to punch him in his face.
Point is, he didn't have to. They were kind of like treating him like dirt from the beginning. Like, hey, we don't need
because he's
I mean, yeah, clearly
he's stuck pretty bad.
Which is my thing. Is like, how long have you been doing this?
So to the part where where Marcus is batting again and Miguel's pitching to him.
And coaching apparently.
Oh.
Because he was like, all I need is one person to get on base and I'll bring it home. Don't worry about it.
That was a little bit of a
He's doing too much. He's overstepping. He's overstepping his bounds in this situation.
Like,
I mean, rightfully so.
I can do this.
I get that, but he's gotta defer. He's gotta hey, I think.
But you know. In that scenario,
here's the thing. If you're talking here's the thing.
Because you know why?
Let's say
you're good.
Yes, but let's say I'm not the coach. My job is to make that suggestion to the coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, be like, hey, maybe I think this is where we are. I think we should do this. Yeah. A good coach is going to be like, yeah, we're going to do that, but I'm going to say it. Like, that's what you got to do.
Who's that?
Yeah. Holding up a sign that said, "Are you done?"
She's bugging, man.
We're almost done. Just give me some time. Golly.
I love my little granddaughter. Oh my God.
Let's finish off this scene though. So it pretty much Miguel's pitching to Marcus. He throws the ball.
Is he pitching though?
Huh?
Why is he pitching?
Yeah,
because
all of a sudden,
this whole time, America Ferrera has been pitching. Why is he pitching? She's not on base.
Maybe she was tired.
Well, he felt like he wanted to take over because you know what? These people.
Look, you can't go away from what's been working. That's why he loses all the time. Clearly,
he was like,
"That's exactly what happened." That's exactly what happened. He pitches and he's hearing them cheer for Marcus and stuff. They're like, Marcus, and he's like feeling it inside. He's like, I'm getting real pissed.
I think hearing his wife cheer for him was like the final straw.
Yeah. And I don't even like the way it played out in the movie. It didn't seem like he was purposely like, I'm gonna check this right at him. It was
I
more
didn't think
like
it was gonna happen either.
You, but I was
instinctive.
shocked because we had this look.
I was like, he's gonna sabotage him. Is he gonna give him bad pictures? Like that's what I thought was gonna happen. He was gonna give him a bad.
No, I knew he was gonna hit
Look
him.
bad. I didn't think he was gonna hit him.
Like, when you're mad
I thought
and
that
you
was
like
obvious.
you're trying not to slam doors and you still end up slamming doors, you're like, all right, calm down. I think that's what seems like in this
I don't
situation.
know about
Nah,
that.
he meant to hit him.
I don't like slamming doors. I don't like loud noises. It's irritating.
Whatever, Tracy. You
Anger,
do a lot of other things, huh?
I was gonna say
That's where you draw the line.
my anger manifests differently. I don't like slamming doors.
I draw the line at slamming doors.
I'll be like, huh, and then just like slow down right at the end and be like, oh no.
You
like,
can snap a game in half, but you can't.
I like a good door slamming.
Have you heard that the sound that a game makes when it snaps? Not a very loud one.
I don't like it though.
It's kind of like a.
It hurts. It hurts. You hear everything break. I don't like the hearing things break inside a mechanical thing.
The thing about that is it hurts more after you realize what you just did.
Yeah.
Because when I snapped that game in half, I was like, this is brand new, bro. I just got that like literally for my birthday, man.
Yeah, that was what it was that game.
Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect 3.
Because I kept getting stuck. It kept glitching on this part and I couldn't get past it. And you got to think about the kind of like insanity to be like, right? I had to press the disc eject, take it out, and then snap it. It wasn't like I already had it in my hand and snapped it out of range.
You actually have to boop.
You had every opportunity to not do it.
There was so many steps when it was like, all right, just put it back in. Don't do this. Don't do it. And I still did it. Oh my God. They ended up getting a better version anyway, so it worked out.
Back to the movie. Crazy.
Yeah, he hits him. He hits him with the ball.
He hits him with the ball. He ends up throwing it pretty hard and kind of directly at Marcus. Like something deep down was just like, I'm about to pitch this ball. Hey, I'm about to give up. Boom. Hits him. And everybody's like, everybody's like, whoa, calm down. Like, the dads get into a fight.
Yeah, well, because it was very obvious from
you want to go?
perspective that he did it on purpose. That was the whole point. Like, it wasn't like, oh man, it slipped. It was everybody could see. They were just like, yo, what happened right now?
Forrest Whitaker comes out there like, what?
Yeah, he was about to.
We can go. Don't need
it. And so they're fighting. They're fighting.
Apparently lose this game.
And then when he's going to their home and she was saying something about it, he's like, what? And he was like, no, he was trying to explain how he didn't really mean it.
Yeah.
He was like, and he was just being extra dramatic.
Yeah, he said he was dramatic. Okay.
Yeah.
It was over the top, man.
Oh man. This was great.
Where are we at? This is the part where I don't know, man. I skipped a couple of these notes because a lot of this filler stuff is kind of like
the wedding cake scene.
Yeah, who cares?
Oh,
man?
with him and
whatever. It's showing them bonding. Brad and Angie.
But it's also very clear when that scene when she's moving the glasses that she likes messing with him, which is something women do when they like you. Like,
was
didn't need the cake scene because the cake scene kind of irritated me because the lady's like, okay, that's enough. Could you guys stop? You're messing up everything that I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, like, why are you guys fucking up this lady's shop? Like,
no, I'm gonna mess up. They didn't even care.
It's not like it was like one from the pieces that they were both given. They took other cake and throwing batter. Like, yo, that's enough. That's enough. Come on, this scene is going on too long for my liking.
You know they paid for it. She's an attorney. He got his. They were just like, all right, sorry, you messed up your stuff.
Probably, yeah. But that was just a cute little scene to show that they're like,
and then it kind of moved
closer.
on to, when they went back to his house and they had to take a shower because they were covered in cake.
Ooh.
And then here we go. The obvious happens,
Yeah.
So you knew this. They've been dancing around this thing.
Will they, won't they? Oh my God.
They will.
And they did.
They did.
They did. And then
we all knew it. We saw it coming from a mile away. Come on.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, there's that. Somewhere
what
down
comes
the
after
line,
this?
this is like I said, there's a lot of like random filler in here, but somewhere down this line, this is before they go to look for the DJ. somewhere down the line, Carlos Mencia essentially says he doesn't think he's good enough for his daughter.
Oh, right.
And there's it's there, and it's
Well,
like
he said it to his wife, right?
yeah, he said he says it to her, and once again because he doesn't know the situation,
right?
And we get to this. Okay, so then we do get to this club scene where they have to look for a DJ, and I don't like this scene either because it's just like two old people being
no. Okay, but I like it. I think it's funny. They come into the club, they're looking at the menu. It's like a hip club or whatever. There's only a few items on the menu, and I don't know. I just like it. I like the little thing.
I'm not a bartender. I'm a mixologist.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a mixologist. And they were like, hey, bartender. She's turned around and he's just looking at them. Mixologist. And he goes, yeah.
What can I help you with? I was like, don't, bro, you can't. I'm sorry. You can't do that. I don't care what you think your title is. You can't do that. And then they were like, hey, Mr. DJ. Oh, I'm not a DJ. I'm a
turntabler.
Yeah. Never. I would prefer it if the DJ was called the mixologist. It would make more sense.
So funny. They were laughing about it. They're all joking about it because they were drunk at this point, drinking what they're called pink nipples or something. So they're having a good time. They're already drunk and stuff like that. And so when he says, I'm a turntablist, they're like, ah! They talk about him being on the radio. He's like, I'm on the radio. I'm a radiologist.
Yeah, he's like, so you're a doctor. That's the joke. I get it. Man.
That totally messed me up.
I like that. Okay, look, those are kind of jokes I like. I think it's funny as hell. I like dad jokes.
Here's the thing.
Dad jokes.
Those are dad jokes, and that's what makes them good.
Yeah.
And they only work in this scene because if they were outside anywhere else, these jokes would be pretty stupid.
They be dad jokes.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The mixologist thing only works because they're old school and they're like, oh, that's a bartender. Imagine you're just walking down the street talking about bartenders and somebody was like, they're called mixologists now. Like, it's less funny now. It has to be in this setting. Like,
but it worked. It worked for them coming up and going
to said.
Anyway,
it works.
And then he ends up
the kids bail them out of jail.
No.
They get arrested. They get arrested.
What did they get arrested for? Because the big dude, what happened?
Oh, they threw a drink.
Fighting. Oh yeah.
That's it. That's it. They get arrested.
And then the guy comes and picks him up and he's squeezing him to death. And then they end up getting arrested.
Out of jail, and finally, because not yet.
At this point, no. At this point,
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I mean, they talk lightly about what happened, or whatever, but he really talks about how goes deep into how he feels about his daughter being with him and not being good enough because he don't want her being with the man who doesn't pull his own weight. I guess, apparently.
And this is what we were talking about earlier, though, because he's ambushed into this because she still hasn't told him he has to eat that, and you can see that, like,
oh yeah,
oh my god, like this one broke me because he was just like he was sitting there like he has to eat that.
He's like, how would you feel? Would you want? Would you think that would be a good thing as a man don't feel his own? Yeah. And he's like, and of course he's like,
no,
yes, sir.
Duh. And he's got to eat that because he can't betray his woman's trust and tell him what she is refusing.
Hasn't told him. Yeah, what she hasn't said.
Like, he has to eat that, and that sucks so bad to watch him eat that because then not only does he have to eat that, he feels like crap, and it's on her, not on him. So, and this is how we get to the next scene where they basically essentially call off the wedding.
Right.
Yeah. Well, because he's mad she didn't stick up for him.
Right.
And just
basically come out clean like a fool.
You did not protect him in the time that he needed it the most. You let him take all of that heat.
She didn't say a thing. She just let it happen.
And it's more than just words. We're talking about your pride, your ego, all these different things that he just got smacked in the mouth with. Yeah, of course I don't blame him one bit. And then that's when she finally comes clean to her parents. Like, yo, I dropped out of law school. I've been working at this charter school,
volunteer teacher,
and I love what I do. And that was the most important part. She was like, imagine that I actually get to do what I love, and I'm not a lawyer like you wanted me, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So,
where.
back to a side story, I guess, with Brad and Angie. Angie walks up to drop off.
No more.
Too bad. She goes to drop off wedding something, whatever. And he's like, oh, acting all standoffish. She's like, can I come in? And then you see this little young blonde girl come out of nowhere.
Woman.
Yeah, this white woman come out of nowhere, and she's like, oh, really?
Or whatever.
But I think the part that made me kind of like upset a little bit about it is more, I guess, Angie being upset. Like, you already know this fool.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah, but I think she thought, there was a connection, and well, I'm saying even though she wasn't surprised, it wasn't that she was just hurt. That's all. It's like even if she does know him, that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. And she's like, I thought maybe this might be going somewhere,
Yeah, but I mean, it's not important enough to dwell on because it's a side story. So let's move on to Marcus. Basically, Lucia's sister is basically like, hey, just go get your man. And she goes out there. She sings something. I don't even recognize the song.
It's the same song. It's the baby song. Yeah.
She's been singing it terribly.
Yeah.
She sings it. They make up. The wedding is back on. And this is where we get to the absolute disaster for no reason at all. That is this wedding.
When they were trying to prepare for the wedding and all
you
the
missed the other side story, though. You missed the other side story. Because it's a part of the movie. It's a part of the movie.
Which part?
It's just cute. I thought you think it's cute.
You talk about Miguel
Lucia's parents.
Oh, who cares?
Lucia's parents, Miguel, he comes by with a car or whatever. She's like, oh, nice car. She's kind of disappointed because she feels bad, about what her kids were saying, their daughters were saying about her and stuff like that. And he comes by and, shows her this car and shows her the name on it and is like, oh, it's yours, whatever, go for a ride. And then they kind of like, they're loved up because she's stressed about wanting to feel young again and hip. And she's like, what happened? I used to be fun. And so they do something fun together. I just thought it's cute. Okay. It's just cute stuff. This is not a movie for a man like you who doesn't like cute stuff. Okay. So the thing is, we have to embrace that. It's Valentine's month. Okay. So embrace it.
That's fine. Who cares? Anyway, we get to this wedding, which is an absolute disaster. Somehow the grandma is messing up the cake because it's not traditional, and they're all fighting, and somehow
you want cake?
A goat gets into the Viagra, and this is where it's just not funny. Like the goat gets the Viagra.
They did take it a little too far. It was just
we like, just let him finish and he'll pass out. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. I'll sock you in the mouth. You ever say some shit like that to me again?
He ran amok in the wedding and stuff.
And then they all start laughing, and then they have a good wedding. And that should be the end of this movie, but it goes longer. This wedding scene
because we have to get back to him and Angela.
I stopped writing notes at this point because I was just like, there's nothing really more.
That's what happened. They had all that. Had the mariachi singing the same song.
The wedding looked like it was a blast, man. The reception, everybody was having a good time. Brad has to make this about him, and he gets to make up with Angie, and they become a thing. And then finally, the end of the movie.
Yeah, it was a lot long. I did drag out a little bit. I was like, okay,
weird way. The ending, it was like the ending in itself was a whole.
It was. Because it was like, I was like, man, I would rather be at this wedding than have to watch this wedding because having a good time, man.
Oh well, we didn't even talk about the wedding scene or whatever. The wedding scene, it kind of. He goes back on what he was talking about, asking permission or whatever, and he gets down on one knees, and they're like, okay, and he's pretty much asking permission. He's like, it's fine. This is what you guys want or whatever.
I said it's too late because here's the thing. He does it. My biggest problem with this scene is he does it, but Carlos Mencia's character, Miguel, was just like, nah, she chose. I was like, bro, just give him what he wants right now. Like, you don't have to be that guy. Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes, man.
And then they have that little sitting competition again. And everybody's waiting for them to sit. Whatever. I think it's funny.
It's funny for me.
Oh man.
His mother is like, sit down.
So yeah, finally, that's the end of the movie. This movie is done.
It is.
Absolutely done with
It
this.
goes on another like 25 minutes, but it's over at this
This
point.
movie is done, man. They get married. Everyone lives happily ever after.
Oh,
No one.
and then at the end, how they show the scenes, his other daughter, and then she brings the boyfriend who's Asian.
Oh yeah,
I didn't keep watching while the credits were rolling.
that was credits. That was credits
It was
mostly.
in the credits.
I didn't watch when the credits came on. I clicked this
You
right
did.
off. Nobody. I don't need that in my
Like
life.
I did.
I don't need that. I don't need this in my life. I don't need you
Yeah.
setting up a sequel for a movie we never wanted in the first place. Get out of here.
No,
it was just
I
funny
know
to put that
it was
in
more
there.
just for funny sake, like
All right.
something.
Final thoughts. Who wants to go first?
Final thoughts.
I'll go.
All right.
So my final thoughts is, well, I'm going to compare things to what we did last week with Hitch. And to be honest, I enjoyed it a lot more than Hitch. And even though it's dated, also, it's not as dated as Hitch. And I give this movie 6.5.
Jesus.
The half.
All right, Ma. Final thoughts.
Let's see. I enjoyed it. I think it had enough funny moments. Some of it was silly and a little extra, but it had enough funny moments that were actually funny to me. So I got some good laughs, and it did have continuity. Even if there were some things that were kind of random and shouldn't have been there, it still flowed through, as opposed to Hitch that was just like all over the place.
Yeah.
And didn't have, so it lacked that. I liked it, and I think and I believe these characters more overall than I believed in that movie. I believe them. I believe that Miguel loved his daughter. I believe that Brad loved his son, and they were trying to do the best thing, but they both had their own little issues. So I liked it. I'll give it about a 6.
All right, I guess it's on me.
Yeah.
I did not like this movie, but it is better than Hitch. It is way more cohesive than Hitch is, and it. My biggest problem is the lack of like conclusion to what to the issue that they were not addressing or were addressing, just tiptoeing around the whole movie. But other than that, I mean, it's fine. I give it like a 4 because
that's better than what I thought you were going to give it.
Well, I mean, yeah, because once the racial stuff came in, I was already like, all right, I'm knocking points off of that because it's cheap. It's cheap for me. But
it wasn't cheap then. It'd be cheap now because that way played out.
It was still cheap. You know what I mean? It was just like you get better. You get a better comedian. This stuff is executed better. That's really what it comes down to. Because if you're gonna do it, it has to be good. You know what I mean?
No, true.
I think that's why Bernie Mac was so good in Guess Who, because even though it wasn't a great movie,
can we talk about that when we get there?
I'm just saying because he was able to do that because he's a better comedian. So my final thoughts are: this movie is a 4, and I will probably never watch this again.
That's just a good score for you. Honestly, I thought you were gonna say 2, something like that.
Hitch was like a 1, so.
No, you said 0.
Yeah, it was a 0.
So,
that's the bar, man.
So yeah.
All right. We done it. We did it.
We did indeed.
So, what's next week's?
Mom.
Oh yeah. Lovebirds, right?
Yeah, Lovebirds.
Issa Rae and
one with the
guy, the Middle Eastern
person.
Okay.
And act very well.
Whatever, we'll get there.
Anyway.
Did we come up with the sign off for our family reel?
We have not.
We have not.
Man?
So
family
I guess
reel.
Keep it dysfunctional.
It's definitely
dysfunctional family.
No, that's a jingle.
Here's the story of a lovely lady.
I'm cutting you guys off. Later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.